I want to ask you a few questions about the season.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I thought we were going to actually drink. I'm a little bummed we're not drinking.
yeah, I mean, you're giving Wells a run for your money there with your shaking already. Um, Obviously, we've had quite the journey already as viewers. For you, with the Claire Tayshia switch up and the Finding Love in 12 Days and everything, where does that rank for you in like hardest secrets to keep in The Bachelor, in most dramatic? Like, where does it fall?
I mean, no secret is harder to keep than any other. I mean, that's my whole life. I am probably the best vault of any human being in the world. Of 20 years of having to keep things secret and trying to remember what I can keep secret, what not. Like I'm shooting Matt James season, wrapping that up. I'm in Tayshia's. Okay, I can talk about Tayshia. I can't talk about that. So trying to keep it straight as I get older, not easy. But as far as just crazy, dramatic, bizarre things I've dealt with on the show, it's right up there on the Mount Rushmore of wild moments when you consider we're in the pandemic, we're just trying to shoot as it is, and then we have this woman fall in love and get engaged in a couple of weeks, and then we bring in a new bachelorette and all make it work seamlessly. Impossible.
Was there any point that you did want to tell Claire to like just really try to push through, or were you like the ship has sailed? And do you worry about something like this happening again now that the rules have been broken? We're like in uncharted territory here.
Well, I did have those conversations with Claire, and it wasn't the demanding way in which you put it of like, do this. It was really just encouraging her to, hey, keep your eyes open. You can do whatever you want, but I've seen this before, and I just don't want you to get your blinders on and get your heart broken and go down this path when we have nothing but time. So if you really are unsure in any way, there's no hurry here. Dale's not going anywhere. So my thing with her was not telling her to do anything, more just like encouraging her from someone who's had experience. But she was bound and determined and was in love with this guy. And that's how you know too, if they take your advice and say, I know, then great, who am I to tell you how you're supposed to feel? But it was a wild switch when she pulled that off. But look, once she convinced me and I could see she was convinced, you embrace it, you go with it. Will this happen again? Look, I've been doing this for 20 years. None of them are the same. They're not. They all bring their own brand of drama and backstory and history and insecurities and strengths and weaknesses. That's what makes the show so great. It's all different. Matt James' season is completely different than any season we've ever done. That's just the way it is.
And with Claire and Dale, I feel like they've gotten, some love, some hate, kind of comes with the territory in Bachelor Nation. As someone who, knows them as a couple, why do you think they, have a good chance to make it? And are you surprised by the kind of mixed results from the fans?
I mean, you can't really be surprised anymore about social media and the way people respond. It's just the unfortunate side. It's the underbelly of social media. You see it a lot. You saw it during this whole political climate. And if you're going to see it for big issues like the pandemic and politics, of course it's going to happen for the Bachelorette. I mean, that's small potatoes comparatively speaking. But people should remember it is also someone's life. This is Claire. This is Dale. These are human beings. So maybe think twice before you hit the send button. Not that you will, but I always try to give that PSA of maybe people will be decent human beings. I always wish the best and think the best of people. But I say, look, they're in love, they're happy. Why not just do something crazy and support them? Why not?
What a concept.
Yeah.
Something obviously this season with Claire and Tayshia and now Matt is all in one location. And it's kind of affected the show in one way where we have, at least on The Bachelorette, the guys who aren't on the group date get to come be like spectators, sometimes crash, Noah. I think that's adding like a really fun layer to the show. Are you liking the way that that's doing, and will we see that continue with Matt?
I mean, I am and I'm not. We're going to have to really medicate our producers who come up with these dates because they are at their wits' end. There is only so much you can do in a half mile by half mile block of a hotel. And so they really did an unbelievable job of making it as creative as possible. And some of those dates kind of needed an audience. Well, you can't get an audience, so we used the one we had back at the house. We did as creative a job as we could. And I think we pulled it off. I think we did a great job. There are aspects of the intimacy of this pressure cooker in this fishbowl environment that I do like. But at the same time, I miss having the world as our playground.
Right. And what can you tease for the rest of Tayshia's journey? Did any of your fears with the switch up come true? Were you happy with how everything played out? I feel like we have so many guys now that are like in the running that we didn't even know existed. Ben, the new love of my life, personally.
Well, what I was worried about was, would this work? The guys don't know Tayshia. They weren't prepared for Tayshia. Tayshia didn't know these guys. So it really was old school Bachelor where it was like, okay, here we go. These guys were cast for Claire. And so there was that dilemma. And some of the guys, whether it was Blake or Jason, I think that, some of the guys that did have feelings for Claire and they couldn't get past that. And so, yeah, there was that worry. But once Tayshia came in and just kind of broke the ice, the guy's jaws dropped to the ground. And I saw, this is the magic that makes this show work. There is chemistry here. And then we were just off to the races. And now, honestly, what I'm excited about is you're finally getting to know these guys. Because there was so much crazy drama with Claire and Dale, you didn't get to know, Brendan and Zach and Ben, as you mentioned, and even Bentley to a certain degree. And some of these other guys that are wonderful, that have been blowing up the internet now because everybody's falling in love with these guys. The anesthesiologist that everybody's in love with right now. Everybody's just so happy to get to know these guys now. And that to me was the best part.
We see a lot of tears to come, I think. Safe to say it's going to be an emotional ending for Tayshia.
For sure. I mean, this is more of a typical Bachelorette season where you are getting to know this great group of guys. There are some serious, strong feelings being formed on both sides. Tayshia is one that was really ready for this and really relished the opportunity. And she's not letting it go. She's going to take full advantage of it, which means really letting go with all these guys and forming a lot of strong feelings in different relationships. And that will obviously create drama.
And we see her dad maybe get a little bit in the drama, which I love that we were able to get her parents involved, and bring them in, because I'm sure that was a question too. So what can you tease me about Tayshia's parents showing up?
I will just say this, amazing people. Her dad definitely was not shy about expressing his opinion on his daughter in those relationships. And look, I get it. I am a father of a daughter and I will be the same way. Probably won't be on camera, but I'll be the same way.
Is your daughter going to be Bachelorette one day?
No.
Matt James, obviously you're filming now. Advantage or disadvantages to him not being on the show before? Fresh blood, but also was he nervous in front of the cameras? How'd that go?
Both. There are some wonderful things to the naivete and innocence to just coming in. But then there's little things that we had to really stop. And, night one, and he doesn't know what to do because he never came up to the mansion before. He never went to a rose ceremony. He doesn't even know how to get a rose or give a rose. So he doesn't know the vernacular. He doesn't know what I'm going to do. We really had to walk him through and teach him. It was Bachelor 101 and it was trial by fire. And sometimes there were some mess ups and some trip ups, but it was kind of endearing and cute in the same way because this guy was just genuinely going through this and would stop and go, wait, what are we doing? And so there was some fun to it, but there was also some, trials and tribulations and a few hurdles we had to overcome.
What was the biggest piece of advice that you gave him on night one? Before night one, even.
Get ready for your life to change. In the next 2 minutes when the first limo pulls up, it's never going to be the same. And it really was, nobody, and I mean nobody, has a perspective. They think they do when you're on the show, and even when you make it to the final four or final two, you think you have an idea of what it's like. You have no idea what it's like being in the Bachelor or Bachelorette shoes. It is an extraordinary circumstance and a range of emotions. And I told him, you're going to feel it all. There will be moments where you want to punch me in the face and you're going to be crying and upset. And he's like, whatever, man, it's all good. And lo and behold, he didn't punch me. But, there are just these moments. The show strips you down. It takes you on this emotional ride that most people don't understand until you're a part of it.
You said, you can't compare the seasons, but that first promo where Matt mentions he's never been in love before, I was getting a little bit of Ben Higgins vibes with the unlovable. Am I right there?
No, not as much of a lovable loser as like Ben made it out to be. Like Ben was felt like he didn't deserve it and hadn't earned love. And that's not Matt. I think the best thing to describe Matt is it's not that he hasn't said I love you before. I think the problem with him is he realized being the Bachelor, he had never fully understood what it means. He didn't understand the weight of it. And now I think this has really opened your eyes. And one thing about the Bachelor and Bachelorette, you ask any of them, it changes you. If you don't learn and come out different, he is a different man than when he came to us. And he got really a crash course because he didn't get the few steps of being on the show. He really just ripped the Band-Aid off. And sometimes that hurts a little bit. So I think he had a bit of a rude awakening of the man he is, the way he loves, what love means to him. It really is an amazing journey you're going to take with Matt, not just as the Bachelor, but also as this man who realizes, wow, okay, this is love and this is what it means. And I'm really here to find this.
Wow, we're getting deep. Okay, before I let you go, any update on Bachelor in Paradise? I miss it so much. And who from Tayshia's season / Claire's season or do we want to see on the beach? I think Bennett's like the overall, everyone wants Bennett to like wear his robe in Mexico.
Bennett's already down there.
Bennett moved to Mexico just in case.
Because he can. He bought a chateau on the beach. It's under construction right now. No, the crazy thing about the pandemic is obviously we didn't shoot last summer, so now we are going to have multiple seasons. It's going to be a murderer's row of choices of people. And I mean, I hate to say this, but there's going to be people left on the bench that we love just because you can only have so many people on that beach. And right now, the plan is we're moving forward. Clearly, we are like the rest of the world. This vaccine is on the horizon. There is hope on the horizon. And where there's hope, there's roses and there's the Bachelor.
Wow.
We're always right there. But no, in all seriousness, our dream scenario is Bachelorette is next. That's our normal schedule. We shot Bachelor in the normal time frame. We're going to shoot Bachelorette in the normal time frame this kind of winter, spring. And then that'll lead us into hopefully the Bachelor in Paradise that we normally have. And, it's June. So my dream, I'm not Anthony Fauci here, but my dream is that, the vaccine is working by then and we're right back to normal. Knock on wood.
Poor Peter's girls. Hopefully some of them will still get to come out and not be taken. Because I feel
that's
like
the thing. Go back. We're gonna have Peter's girls. We're gonna have Matt James girls. And then we're going to have, the guys from, Claire and Tayshia. And then we're going to have another Bachelorette. So we're going to have 2 of each. That's a lot.
Plus, anyone who's just, like a veteran, we always got to bring back some of the old people. Is there anyone out there that you still are holding out hope to come back? You had like Chris Bukowski come back last year. That was like a big one. Now I think he's officially done.
I don't, I never know. That's always kind of that cool Easter egg that we throw out for people that all of a sudden someone shows up and you're like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I love that. Whether it's a Michelle Money or Sarah Heron or, someone like that I just love and adore from the past, but you just never know. I mean, hey, there's Hannah B. She's single. There's, some of our bachelors and bachelorettes are single and maybe they appear.
Now?
And by the way, we're talking now, it's November. June is a long way away. You never know who's going to be single or not by then. I mean, that is a lifetime in Bachelor world.
That's true. I mean, just could be Claire Dale. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Could be. You never know.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me. I could talk to you forever, but I know you're busy.
Well, I'm glad that, I'm glad we got this thing going. And, I'm glad we're just upping our Bachelor Nation experience a little bit more with the Source Craft cocktails.
Do we have a drinking game safely to be played for the rest of the season that you can also be a tease for? Drink every time this. Obviously, Claire and Dale would have been the early version, but.
Right. That's a good one. What do we have? What is Tayshia kind of known for?
She wants a man, a grown-ass man was the big thing.
Yeah, that was said way too much during that date. Wow. Where Tayshia kind of goes with the British accent toward, anytime you hear hints of a British accent, drink.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, she gets this thing where she kind of goes up sometimes.
Okay. I got to listen for that.
You want me to drink? And I'm like, whoa, what was that? Did you just go Madonna on me? Just go Gwyneth Paltrow? Remember when they thought they were British for a little bit? Sometimes it happens. Yeah, sometimes it happens with Tayshia. I like it. It's kind of adorable.
Oh, well then also before I actually let you go, there's a viral theme about that Tayshia's ex-husband was going to show up because of this like promo. What was that?
Okay, that was not us. Okay, can I just clear this up? That had nothing to do with The Bachelor. That was not us. His name somehow showed up on a closed captioning,
Right.
right? That's the thing. We don't do that. We have a transcript that goes along, but our transcripts, I looked at it. I actually did the research. I'm like, what is this? Um, and I don't know where it came from. It wasn't us. It's not in our transcript. Local cable companies, every local cable company can do their own and implement their own transcript. So clearly it came from somewhere out in the world, but it had zero to do with us. I can promise you. I actually did some research, looked into it. I had them send me the transcript, and they're like, look, here it is, man. It's not us.
Whether
I
you
don't
guys
know
like
where
it
it
or
came
not,
from. His name was never uttered by us. We didn't talk about him. I don't know anything about this man. I mean, I've talked to Tasha briefly about him a little bit, but it was it's old ancient history to her. So I never even went there with her.
whether you guys like it or not, this show, there's theories, there's fans, there's whatever. They come up with something. So you.
I love it. Hey, I love it. I like that everybody's into it that much. But yeah, no, that one was a weird one. I didn't know where that came from. I always hear something. I'm like, wait, now what is this?
She cleared it up. She was like, "Don't stop talking about my ex-husband," which I understand because he is a regular human who's not.
Like, yeah, we don't want to blow this guy's life up.
All right, so tell me about the most dramatic cocktail kit ever.
The most dramatic cocktail kit ever. So here's the thing. Everybody watches The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Not everybody, but most everybody watches the show together. It really does encourage group viewing, and it encourages having a good time, cocktails. And so we thought, as a franchise, let's embrace this. Let's try and kick this up a notch and have our own cocktail that everybody can be a part of. And honestly, one thing about Bachelor Nation and the show in general is it creates a community. It's all about togetherness and being together, where you're talking about the show or getting together to watch the show. And so we thought, let's create this massive nationwide cocktail party. So we have joined forces with Sourced Craft Cocktails. And this week, you can actually order your own cocktail kit. It will be delivered to your house. Everything you need is in there. You are good to go. You can order one cocktail. You can order 16 cocktails, depending on how many people you have at your party. It's totally up to you. Everything you need to make this cocktail perfect is in the kit. And this week is the First Impression Rose. That is the name of the cocktail. It comes in this awesome Bachelorette bag. You got the rose, and you have everything you need to make this cocktail, even the measuring cups. And so we've made it just absolutely as easy as possible. But we wanted to personalize it, make it cool.
And was a huge part of why this works is because 2020, it's all about delivery, right? It's convenience to your door.
Yeah, and Source Craft Cocktails is the only company that can actually deliver a cocktail kit to your house. You can get alcohol, but you can't get a cocktail. And we didn't want just alcohol. We wanted something that was specific to the show. And yeah, you don't have to leave. You don't have to go to the store. Even if you live in a crazy place like Los Angeles, where they're not allowing you to breathe and go outside your house, it doesn't matter. Not even the governor of California can screw this up. That's how good it is.
The Bachelorette and the drinking games must go on.
Yes, exactly. So no, in all seriousness, yeah, you don't have to go to the store. It's all hands-free delivery. You can enjoy tomorrow night. You can order today, and it will show up at your house tomorrow, and you're good to go. The only thing you really need is a cup and some ice. Everything else comes.
And you have the First Impression Rose this week and the final rose also. Do you have a favorite, or do you like both?
I mean, here's the thing. It depends on your flavor. This week we have the rosé vodka with a little strawberry puree, and then just a little spritzer on the top. And I'm a little liberal. And again, it says 1.5 ounces of vodka. I go 2. It's a dramatic night. I mean, as the host, I get a little nerves, and so I go 2 ounces. But we make it super easy. And this is a light, refreshing, fruity drink.